Today we'll start with a new service, in the uh, data engineering learning, which is very important nowadays. That is AWS Glue. So AWS Glue is very important service. Why we use this AWS Glue? It is for ETL ETL task. Okay. What is ETL? ETL is, anyone know what is ETL? When we use ETL jobs?
It's a tool which helps to clean the raw data.
Okay. So cleaning, just for cleaning raw data, or what is it?
I don't have much knowledge on it, but it's just a basic definition.
Yeah, it's getting the data from source and then cleaning, transforming, and also loading it into the
Yes. So if you take the example of our last class, where we have collected some information on Kinesis stream, correct? We collected some data from some source into Kinesis streams and then try to capture in the S3 bucket. If you observe, that data was not really a well-structured data. It was a JSON data where it was having some information like time, sensor ID, or marks, or whatever. Some information is there, but it was not exactly like how we need in a table. We call it as something different data or unstructured data, or it's not in a format where you can convert it into a table. So sometimes we get a requirement where we need to run queries on stuff. Okay. So there are multiple tools which we use regarding this. But Glue, how does it help is, with Glue we can collect information from multiple sources. Okay. And that sources can have multiple formats also. And we don't know that format of the data there, but we can extract the data. ETL is nothing but extract, transform, and load. So from some source where the data we don't know how it is, okay, it will be in a different format, that we will extract it, we will transform it and load into some other place where it can be again further processed. So in here what will happen is, it's a serverless discovery and definition of table and scheme. We can collect from anywhere, right? We can collect from Redshift. We can collect from even Kinesis data streams also, as in our last class. Okay, we are going to see a couple of examples on this. So basic thing is, we will collect the data from some source, then transform it and load into some other place, which is much better, or we can say that it is in a much better format for us to read the data or analyze the data. So when we do this, actually what will happen in the ETL is, in AWS Glue is, extract, transform, and load. And I want to say one more realistic scenario where we are using that. We have two databases, like one database is our master database. Means master database means this is the product which we are using, and it has all the proper structured data. Say for example, vendor information or property, or all the information is here in a right method already. It's a well structured method, and we have tables in it. And there is another application which is running. Here the table structure is different from this completely. But they also have some field called owner, something. Okay, owner is there. So same vendor table we call it as owner here, or we call him as a supplier here. And they have their own information. This table structure is different from this table structure. So in real time, what will happen is, there are two different products. Here they have one table called supplier, and here they have a table called, in other database, they have a table called vendor. But the end user is actually using both the products. He is using this product and also this product. So what he exactly wants is, whatever data he is getting in supplier table, he needs to pass this into this vendor. Why? Because even though these two systems has named them as a supplier and vendor in a different naming, whatever you call it, okay, both named it differently, but the data inside it or the business requirement is same. For why this guy is using supplier and why this vendor is using same. So when a common person, like a client who is using both the systems, or predominantly he want to transfer this supplier data into this vendor, right? Because if he has a data in one place, it will be very easy for him. He need all the information in this database only, because this is his primary database. So what he will do is he will write a ETL job to transform the data from this product supplier table to this vendor. So for example, in this place, in this product, someone added one supplier today. Why we are using? I am telling you why we are using this ETL actually. You can quote the similar example when someone asks. So the requirement is, in this product, we need to have vendor information so that they can be processed. Say vendor bills can be processed and everything in this product. So the processing of bills, everything is here, and this client is using both the systems. But here he is not processing any vendor bills, right? He is only having supplier. This product has different working, different set of functionalities is there, which vendor bills is not. Because this guy is using both the system, it will be good for him to supplier information comes into this vendor table, so that he can process the bills and he can track in single place. So what we are doing is we are actually doing a ETL job. So what we do, we set up in such a way that daily we will extract the information from the supplier table. And remember, supplier table structure and vendor table structure may not be the same. So we will set up a workflow. We set up a workflow here. Whenever there is a record has been entered in the supplier table, that information we are going to extract and process. We need to transform because this table structure and this table structure are different. So I can't send here data type is 20 and here it is something else, or here there is string and here it's a different data type. So that is why I need to first extract the data, then transform the data. Transform the data, we'll compare and we will process into a right format, then load into this data. So this is what any ETL job does. It is extract, transform, and load. Same AWS Glue will do it. In the case of ETL jobs, how does it look like? There is a data source and data target. So Glue is going to get connected to the data source. Okay. That allows you move data between different sources and targets. So what are the key components here is, crawler is the key component, data catalog, job, scheduler. So these are some important terms which we get to hear regularly in ETL. So data catalog will contain all your table definitions, job definitions, and other control information for your work. So whatever you are doing in the Glue, that information is there inside the data catalog. So it will store all the table definitions, whatever the job definition, anything related to this workflow, you are going to save it. And from data source into catalog, data won't flow just like that. For that, we use crawler. So crawler is a program that connects to data source, infers data schema, and create metadata table definitions in the data. So I said that data catalog will save the metadata store, right? So how do you get that metadata store is from crawler. So crawlers is going to extract the data, or it will connect to the data source and then create. Now comes the ETL job. So after you get the data into catalog, then you need to write a logic, right? You need, not all the data will be same. For each data, there will be a different requirement is there, or different processing logic will be there. So you need to analyze exactly what is there in the, what is our requirement. We need to analyze it very carefully and then write this. So basically here the ETL jobs here in Glue will run on Apache Spark, and you can also write your own script. Then triggers is when you have, okay, now once you have scheduled all, once you have designed your job, this job predominantly picks the data, transform it and load it. This is the logic. Once you have picked it, you need to trigger. So triggering a job is nothing but when do you want to start this job? So that every information will be there in the trigger. So you can just read through this line. So basically, what are the operations or what are the regular terms we come across in the AWS Glue is data discovery. So data discovery means first we need to connect to the source and identify the data. So that is done by crawler. So the crawler scans a data source like a S3 bucket or a database to find out and understand the data within. So first we need to understand what is there in our source. Means that is our problem. Then we need to accordingly classify. AWS Glue uses built-in custom classes to analyze the data and determine its structure and format and scheme. Then comes the crawler extracts metadata from data source, including the information about the data location, schema, and other. Now data catalog. Then it will write into the data catalog. So the extracted metadata is then written into the AWS Glue data catalog. Here it will create its tables and partitions. So the crawler can organize data into tables and partitions based on data classification, ensuring that similar data group is grouped. Then we have to make sure that data is ready for further next step. So what is that next step in real time is once we collected data, we need to send it to services like Athena or any other services are there, right? For further processing. Means you can use for analytical purpose or querying purpose, we can do. Actually, sometime this week, okay, we will see one example where the very same data which we saw in Kinesis data streams and loaded into S3 bucket, the same data we will convert into a table. For that, I will cover this section and also the Athena section together and then do one working sample so that you will understand how Kinesis, Glue, and Athena will work together. All three services will work together and give you an output where the raw data which is coming into the Kinesis in last class will get transformed like a database table, like some table where you can query, just like we did in Redshift, right? So similarly, Athena will help you in querying. But before going to Athena, this Glue is going to load the data into S3. So that is what it is given here. So from S3, the Glue will do its ETL jobs here, and then you can process it to, you can send it to Redshift, you can send it to S3 bucket, and S3 will analyze it through Athena. Okay? Or even you can send to EMR. And then using QuickSight, you can analyze the